Hello viewers, Super GT here. Now you may remember in the previous Forza 7 video, I got sent to the Shadow Realm for a start, but also got sent an invitation to the Pontiac Solstice movement. But we have a new movement in this video, the 2012 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon movement. So we're going to see what the hell this is all about. And this is the vehicle here. It's basically a cube. So we're going to whack a tune on it and get ourselves a paint job. Going for camo, so when I go full ram, they can't see me coming, and the rammers can't see me. So good stuff all round really. So we're going to kick off proceedings at Hockenheim. Let's see how good this car is. Through turn 1, I'm going to kind of pinch this Italian on the inside. Then he gets further murdered a bit later. And we've got, I think someone's in a ram up ahead, but he seems to be not ramming. So he's actually, or is it a Ford? Basically a big truck, a big massive thing, which is ideal for ramming, but he's not actually using it for that purpose, which is good to see. So we've got some unconventional vehicles in use here as we progress into the hairpin here at the National Circuit at Hockenheim. So the car so far seems like it's very darty, very good acceleration. It's not going to have very good, or it's not going to have amazing handling capabilities, as this Honda S2000 tries to wipe out the truck. What's going on there? The roles are reversed. So onto the main straight, you see the power of this thing. Easily sweeping by a Ferrari like it's standing still, and just making short work of him through turn 1, and we're going to get away from him. Big group up ahead. The top 4 were quite close, but I wasn't able to catch them up. So I finished in 5th, which is not too bad. And looking at the pace, I was fairly evenly matched with 2nd to 4th. First place was quite a lot quicker. We moved to Dubai, which is now known as Dubai, circuit of the suck sand. And this is a good test for this car. It's an unusual circuit, this. It kind of has a bit of everything, I suppose. There's some fast corners. The last corner and the first corner very fast. N7 Elliott is going to follow me through. So we've got a massive truck in 2nd. He can be my Valtteri Bottas for the day and just be my wingman, block everyone. That would be an ideal situation as I try to pull away now through the tunnel. So really just trying to kind of pivot on the corner and let the car turn at slow speed and then just sort of dart away out of the corner. Really make the most of the car's power. So through here, that's where the suck sand is. Very easy to get sucked off there, but I avoid it on this occasion. Braking on that side on the left hand side into the hairpin, and the guy behind's just misjudged the braking point a little bit in the 370Z. Still going to keep the lead for now, so I need to try to build this gap as much as I can at this moment. These corners are really strange because there's so many bumps and the car just doesn't react very nicely, which is quite surprising given that it's got about 8 miles of ground clearance. So this car not actually responding too well to the bumps. I've actually gone way too quick through there. Going to graze the tyres and find myself in the tyre wall. So eventually up behind a Spaniard in 6th place across the sand. And right here I am going to commit one of the cardinal sins of motorsport, which is the total 90 rejoin. So I've pulled off a total 90, and the reward for this is, well, getting banished to the Shadow Realm. So I'm going to have to walk the plains of death for the rest of my days. Finished 10th ultimately. We moved to pure meme circuit, mountain circuit reverse in Rio. Classic stuff. Let's see what we can do here in the Jeep. Can we pull off a victory from 3rd place on the grid? The launch is amazing. Immediately up into 2nd, and looking up the inside of the Subaru, he's gone very deep, smoking out the entire place, laying down this nice smoke screen for the rest of the pack so they can't see anything as they go through that first corner and presumably end up killing each other. But then again, that is quite commonplace in Rio. So through the first section of the circuit up the hill, I can't quite see this guy. He's in a Lotus, so small that thing, and I suppose my car is rather high at the same time. Into the hairpin at the top of the hill. We're going to come back for that late apex with a Lotus all over us. And again, I can't quite see exactly where he is because he's so small. So this is a really unusual mismatch here. We've got very much a handling based car, as I punt him in the rear end. Very much a handling based car, the Lotus, up against a big Jeep, which should not be let's face it, should not be able to do this. The things I am doing here should not be happening, but I'm going to try to keep on his tail as much as possible. I think I do have the power advantage, as you can see, just gaining slightly at the rise of the hill. So he may pull away through the corners, but as long as I'm quite efficient with the way I drive, then I might have a chance of victory here. So turning into this first corner on the end of that white barrier on the left hand side, and the car kind of flows in there very nicely, and keeping up with the Lotus. And again, this should not be happening. Just simply should not be happening. A car of this size, this magnitude, the size of a continent, turning like a Lotus. This is quite unusual, but then this is the beauty of Forza, isn't it? The fact that you can choose anything, tune it up and see how it goes. So 1 lap later, pretty much the same story, keeping him close in attention. The TVR lurking behind, not quite enough to catch up with us at this moment. Looking for the inside. It was would have been a forceful move, I think, if I'd fully gone for it and just gone full send. But on this occasion, just thinking better of it. We've still got 5 laps left to go as we start lap 5. So coming through the chicane into the hairpin again. Just looking at the map, it is a short circuit, remember, so we could be catching up to people. We are first and second here, laying down a rather good pace, so that could easily happen over the crest. And there it is. There's the first sign that we're going to have some trouble. Potential trouble anyway. And there's the second sign, we're going to have even more trouble. So this could play in my favour because I'm in second and it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment, and if something happens then good. The Renault there just going for a drift for no real reason, but then again this is Forza, and he's made contact with the Lotus and he's tapped me round. Could not quite avoid the contact, and I've been sent spinning down into third, still on the podium as it stands here and ahead of the Lotus. So I've gained that position, I suppose, but we have dropped 2 positions. One here to the Toyota GT86 or the BRZ, same thing basically. This guy just ripping that handbrake for no real reason. Get out of the way, Drift King. I'm trying to race here. So I've lost another position there. The Lotus getting back through. So this is where the race really gets interesting. I'm racing the Lotus, racing a couple of other guys. Porsche all over the place, and he's swerving violently across the circuit. The Lotus is round, sent spinning for the second time on the main straight. So we're back into our third, up behind the Subaru now, and he's going to try to send himself up the inside of the Porsche. Is the Porsche going to allow that? Yes, but not the Camaro. Up the inside of the Camaro, get out of the way, using the muscle that the Jeep provides. And we're going to get through, sending up the inside, and back into second, looking behind, and again, absolute carnage from the back markers. Please ghost out the back markers, make it happen. And this back marker didn't really matter. Sending up the inside, brutal move. See you later, my friend. And eventually finishing second. Looking at the leaderboard, I know it wasn't a clean lap, but fastest lap of the race. That is, that's a, laying down the gauntlet. Here is worst ramming attempt of the week. So we find ourselves here at Lime Rock in the United States, up the inside of this guy. And, well, I'm not quite sure what that is really an attempt of. It might not even be ramming. And he finds himself buried in that tyre wall, which is actually a well-known portal to the Shadow Realm. So there we go, that's the worst attempt of the week. And his punishment is a one-way ticket to the Shadow Realm, of course. The portal being in that tyre wall. So we move to Brands Hatch. Just really trying to get a race victory in this car. I think it can happen. Just need a bit of luck. And maybe just to drive a little bit better, not make too many mistakes. So Brands Hatch isn't the first track I would think of if I want a good track for this car. But we're going to have to make do with it, because that's what came up. At least it isn't VIR at night, I suppose. So down the hill, up the inside of the NSX, and there's going to be a bit of a disagreement here, and we're just going to make contact. And I'm sent head over heels. I'm going to do a double side flip. The judges putting up 10 on their scorecards for that performance. The execution was absolutely amazing. And I've rolled onto my side. Actually, the landing wasn't quite perfect, but almost. So I got killed early on, and this sets up a nice comeback. This Mitsubishi not really letting anyone pass, and then just going for the double kill. And one more kill, and he's got the first kill streak bonus. So down the main straight here, shoving aside the Camaro, and I can't even talk, over the line up into 7th, and this guy just ends it all, goes into the gravel, up into 6th place. Beautiful stuff. Looking for 5th now. This is the end of lap 2. The comeback's really done quite nicely so far, but this guy's going to end that with a late braking manoeuvre, which was never going to work, and I'm into the gravel. Final lap now, in 6th once again, up into 5th now, and that's pretty much where we were going to finish. So at the end of the race, I fancied a bit more airtime, if you know what I mean. So sliding over the line, and look at this, off the Audi sign, flying through the air. I did not know the Jeep made aeroplanes, but they clearly do. Rivals for Boeing and Airbus. Here we are. So we moved to VIR. It had to happen. VIR always has to happen. It's basically the default track on this game. Shelby on the right hand side lagging a little bit. Into turn 1, and I just forget where my braking point is. So go a little bit deep. Tried to make it back on, but nah, just get smashed into the wall. And that's basically where I give up my adventure in the Jeep. It was nice. It was a nice adventure. Oh, and guess what? We're back at VIR at night. So I guess it had to happen. It just has to happen. VIR at night. It's just guaranteed. If you haven't raced VIR at night, then you haven't played Forza 7. So into turn 1, just trying to survive any dive bombs from hell, and we do, which is probably for the first time in history. Now this guy, oh my, he reminded me why I always join a private party before I start racing online, because the amount of noise coming from his headset was absolutely just shocking, and I'm basically deaf now as a result, and it was very distracting and annoying. So anyway, just trying to catch up with the Chevy up ahead. This guy was fairly fast actually, so it was a nice little race here, driving the Nissan. So just winding through. I actually really like this circuit here. So yes, it is VIR, it does come up all the time, but I actually really like this configuration. It's actually a very nice track, very technical, hard to get right. And the thing about VIR is that it's surrounded by grass, so if you make a mistake, you're going off for a long time, and it does. It really does pay to stay on the black stuff. So through the final turn, and I've definitely caught right up with him as he just grazes over the curb, swings over to the right, back to the left, and I seem to have a straight line speed advantage. So I'm going to go over the line, and I think he kind of let off the gas there. So into first place. So can we continue this another 3 laps and take a race victory? That would be very nice indeed. So that's lap 2, and this is lap number 3. So coming up to the final turn, and Brock Butler just going to make another stupid sound at the wrong moment. It puts me off. I'm distracted in rage, and I make a mistake and go down to 2nd. I did catch right up though, so we have a barnstorming finish to the race. Can we get past the guy in the lead on the final turn? Very close indeed. Couple of back markers here, and it's Brock Butler just going to put himself in the bloody way. I had a chance of getting past there because the Nissan had better straight line speed, and Brock Butler, basically the automotive equivalent of a cock block. Just a random car flying through the air at Suzuka, and we're going to move to the final race of the video. Once again in the Nissan. Now Top Gear is, it's a weird track. Dunsfold Aerodrome doesn't always provide the nicest racing. In fact, it almost always doesn't provide good racing, but this one was actually not too bad. So up with N7 Elliot, he was the guy driving the big old truck earlier in the video. So through turn 1, we actually got through there okay. And you know what, my experience playing this or recording for this video was actually not too bad. A lot of the racing was actually very good. So throughout the video, of course, you would have seen a lot of crashes, a lot of death, a lot of Shadow Realm entries, that kind of thing. But a lot of the races I had, which aren't in the video, are actually very good. So some races make it in, some races don't. I had lots of bad races, I had lots of good races, and condense it down to whatever you see in this video. So again, up behind the little Renault, pocket rocket, that thing, it really does have a lot of power, as you can see it now, just pulling away as we come onto the back straight into Gambon, looking for the second board on the right. 1, 2, there it is, and on the brakes, and see myself a little bit wide of the apex. Perhaps could have trail braked in, turned in a little bit earlier than that. So just taking that final turn a little bit better. We're in close company behind as well. I just saw a proximity arrow briefly, and the guy behind is within 100 feet. So we have a three-way battle here for first. You see they're going very deep into turn 1, very risky. You just get 2 wheels on the grass and you just get sucked off. Up the inside though, Elliot not getting the best of getaways from that turn. We've got an Alpha 33 on our tail. Up the inside, he's gone quite deep and he's made a mistake on the brakes. Up the inside into first. That's the beauty of that Gambon corner. Very wide entry. It is on a runway, so very wide indeed, and that allows you to have multiple sort of ways to attack the corner, and it actually makes it a lot easier to overtake. So setting up the inside, lap 4 or 5 is going to be a very short race. I do wonder sometimes if the lap counts have been considered, because this race is only going to be about 3 minutes long. So a very short race indeed. I'm going to go defensive here. I know the power, I know the straight line speed of that car. It's very good. So covering the inside line into Gambon, into the final turn. So we've got the job done so far. We have a back marker here though, Anderson Silvano, and I don't quite know what he's trying to attempt here, but I'm going to get overtaken by Elliot, but then overtake him immediately back, and the Brazilian back marker just drives himself straight off the circuit. And we have one final little flurry of activity here, and again I'm going to have to go defensive into the second to last turn. Elliot on the right hand side, I've covered it off nicely, on the brakes at the right moment, a little bit deep. Is he going to cut me back? Not quite. Into the final turn, we've got the job done, and ultimately it's a really nice race. So crossing the line to finish first, and there we go. If you did enjoy, ram the like button, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for the support as always. The support recently has been absolutely mega. Lots of new subscribers. I'll welcome all of you to the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. But that's it from me today. Thank you very much for watching as always. I shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Listen.